Hey everyone, and welcome back here to my channel where I play Planet Zoo. My name is Nisse and we got the new DLC today and the new update. I haven't messed around too much with that, but I have built this footage Caracal. And I also did something else first, so you will see that in a minute. But if you want to learn about the Caracal or you want to see how I built this, then please keep watching. Yeah, guys, and as I said, we will start another day because in this plate, I would really love to build everything a little more custom. So not even staff building or anything like that will be as usual. Mainly because I got this idea basically because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep last night. And I just, when I can't sleep, I just try to think like happy thoughts, and that's normally end up in something from I was a kid. And when I was a kid, my biggest dream were to have like buy a old farm somewhere way out in the countryside and build a zoo there. Not technically a zoo, but more like I wanted just to have all these animals to be able to actually feed them. So I would maybe have to make it a zoo, but for me it would be fine just having them as pets. Yeah, I do not condone backyard zoos. I do believe that if you take care of animals, you love them, you make sure they have the biggest life they can have, then no matter which animal it is, I think that's okay. But I also know we have heard a lot of horror stories, mainly from New Zealand and the US here in Denmark, about backyard zoo. So it's not that kind of zoo I would love to make. But I just want to explain a little of the behind here. So all of the main buildings here at first will be very much old rundown buildings with this very old-fashioned kind of roof and such. Whereas when we get farther into the zoo, I feel like we may go back and modernize some of these buildings, which would be kind of fun. I will also say I got a little help from my mom today. She was actually what's it called, educated as a technical drawer. It's called in Denmark. It is basically like someone who draws up buildings, but it's a outdated education, so it doesn't exist today, but it is basically that. So I got a little help to make this building look a little older. She also grew up, as I mentioned earlier, in Sweden in a little farm far out in the countryside. So therefore I got a little help to make it look more like what would look good here with the windows. Actually, this particular park, I was talking to her because the window here gave me a little bit of issues. None of them fitted. No, none of them looked good. So we ended up here, and she also picked the color here, which I really like. I love. I know my mom isn't a gamer. She do not understand why I use time on this, but I do appreciate when she takes the time to kind of look at what I'm doing either way, and also the fact that she wanted to just help me out a little bit. Again, she grew up in a very small farm like this, so I think it also something she appreciates, and I just love when we can make things a little more personal. And this entire idea behind all of this will also affect the habitats a lot, and that's why I took the time to explain this much. Because we will have like limited opportunities to do things. I don't play with money because, again, as a child, I didn't think about that kind of stuff, so we won't play with money. But I will run into a few of the things that kids just simply don't think about. For instance, how big should a habitat be? No one knows. So for instance, here today you can see I built a habitat first and then I have to double it. So there will be a few of those things, also with water and such, where you will see me trying not to think about it at first and then try to make it more like something that could be used afterwards. As I already mentioned in my pre-video on the Caracal, again, I'm gonna try to say Caracal every time. If I say Caracal, that's just the Danish word, but Caracal, I'm gonna try real much. The Caracal have a lot of names, as many others. The funny thing here is it's called Persian lynx, African lynx, desert lynx, Asian Caracal, but it's actually not that close related to the lynx, since it is in the family of Litle, which is the felines. We all know it's the cats of the cats, where of course the lynx also is. But the caracal are also in this subfamily called Feline. We have talked about it before here on my channel. Feline is all of these smaller kitties, but the lynx are not included in here. It is, for instance, the ocelot, marger, Andean mountain cat, cutcut, oscilla, pampas cat. All of these small cat species that no one's actually heard about. But it's just, even though it's called a lynx many places, it isn't that close. It isn't much closer related to the lynx than it is to the tiger or the lions. And even though it's still a small cat like these other small cats in this Feline subfamily, it does still vary a lot in size, being able to weigh between 8 and 18 kilos, which will be between 16 and 36 pounds. Their height also varies from 40 to 50 centimeters, with a difference here put on 10 centimeters, which means the difference would be 4 inches. And the length varies from 73 to 78 centimeters. Here's the difference is only 5 centimeters, which would be 2 inches. So the height varies a lot more than the length, which is funny since the length is already longer than the height. And before I continue, I just quickly want to ask, have you gotten the new DLC or have you not? If it's an active choice, like you don't want the new DLC, please tell me why. And if you've gotten it, have you played with it, and which aspect of it do you love the most about it? If you love it. If you hate it, I will also really love to know. And I know I already talked a bit about it, but we need to talk about how it looks. And as you know, I'm not a total fan of the Disneyfication this animal got by Frontier. The body looks perfect. Maybe the tail should be a tiny bit longer. But it is famous for a short tail, so rather too short than too long, if you ask me. The ears have this darker grayish color on the back side, and these beautiful long, and I mean long, tuft on the end of the ears. Besides that, they also have these dark markings in the face that can be completely black or just dark markings, in which is vertical in the eyebrows, and there also runs a line from the eye to the nose. They also have these darker markings around their whiskers, and then they have these beautiful colors that varies from this very, very reddish color to a more pale reddish brown color. But they can also have this metallic black color that is very rare, but I believe Leaf showed off in his video that Frontier actually made one. So this part I'm really happy about. I never seen one, I will say, but I would love to, and I would love to have one here in my backyard soon. As you can see in your Wikipedia, they live both in Asia and in Africa. But again, I will not mention every country because there's a lot. But they live in both South and Western and Central Asia, and both in North and Sub-Sahara Africa. Personally, when I think of cats overall, I think as jungle animals. But when I look at the caracal, I think a little more like a savanna animal. But they do actually live both places, since they live in the savanna and the grassland, but also forest, woodlands, also mountains, scrublands, and suburban areas. So you could actually meet one right outside your house if you live in one of these places. However, they are also very, very easy to keep a lot of places, since they both live in tropical, arid, and temperate climate zones. Caracals are completely solitary creatures unless it's time for mating, or you need to have your kids around, of course, before they are able to move out. But besides that, completely solitary. That's also why I chose to make this habitat, so you actually could split up the father and the mother, especially when the kid is small, so you don't accidentally kill one, but also so he don't get mad at the mom or she get mad at him. You never want your own animals to kill each other. The males have individual territories, and they do actually overlap with other caracals, but not with females, where we are normally talking about a lot of males having multiple females' territory within his territory. Here it's a little different. Males can actually overlap each other's territory, but every female have her own. She don't allow other females or males in her territory. And of course, again, she have her offspring there, but as soon as she can kick them out, she want her space for herself. And caracals are one of these lovely animals that have a lot of rules and lots of buts to the rules. For instance, they are nocturnal animals, but in very undisturbed areas with no human activity or other noises, you will be able to see them during the day. They also do hunt only at night, but their hunting time are affected by the animal they hunt. So if they want to hunt something that's only active during the day, then they will also hunt during the day. They are ground-bound animals, but they also climb, since they don't both do it to get out of the way for bigger animals, but also to hunt in the trees, and also to just for fun, especially the young. So lots of rules, lots of buts. And where many cats are most famous for their silence or their big roars, the caracal are more famous for their verbal communications, which comes out in growls, not entire roars, but smaller growls, hisses, meows, and spits. And therefore, they also need to have really good hearing, because some of these sounds are not that high, and they prefer to communicate far, since they are so solitary. They have also been seen to use other kind of communication, such as more physically, by huddling or sparring with each other instead. But keep in mind, once again, this is only and only during mating seasons, which is the only time the female will allow the male to come close. And as you may have guessed at this point, the caracal are a carnivore. And not only that, they are a really strict carnivore. So it's no like, I'm a carnivore, but there's no but. They eat mostly hyraxes, which I'm not sure what are. I looked it up. It just said the same name as in Danish, so I'm not sure what it is. So if you know, please tell me in the comment sections below. But besides that, they eat hares, antelopes, which are really big for something this small, but apparently they do eat them. Rodents, small monkeys, and birds. They can also choose to scavenge at times, but as most of us do prefer this fresh meat instead of the leftovers. Also, they are able to go for a period of time without water, since they get so much liquid for the the meat they eat the other way. Sorry. So they will give so much liquid through that, so they won't need water for a period of time. But make sure that your caracal have water, because you don't want to like try to guess how long they can go without. Just make sure they have enough. And once again, caracals are of course polyamorous, since they don't really stay together or anything like that. There's no reason for them to be faithful to each other, basically. So here you can see they can mate with multiple of the opposite sex, which makes sense, especially since they have a long time to do it. They can mate through the entire year if they want to, though most of us would get a little tired of it in the long run. But mainly from August to December, where it's a little colder. And after the mating, the female will go for 10 to 11 weeks before giving birth to normally 3 kittens. It can be a little more, it can be a little less, but 3 really is the standard here. And she will give birth to these kittens either in a cave, a hollow tree, or abandoned burrow, or whatever she can find. She aren't like the mom who wants to build the house, but she will move in when she finds a nice one. But she's not really one for setting down roots, so she will move in, give birth, and for the first month or so, she will stay there with the kittens. But after that, she will start to move them around again and again, both to keep them safe, but also just to move around and take care of her entire territory. The kittens at this point will be starting to play with each other. They will also start to eat, but they won't be completely weaned off before the age of about 15 weeks. And pretty quickly, already at the age of 5 to 6 months, they will be ready to move out, and it is important that they do so, especially, again, the mom don't like them hanging around too long, but also because of the fact that they will themselves be sexual mature at the age of 6 to 24 a month. Again, 6 to 24 months, so that's a half to 2 years, depending on age, how they are. Do they find a home in time? Again, they need these territories to make it work. So a lot of things need to be working for them to do it. But they will need to move out before starting all of that. When it comes to threat of the caracal, we can't really say the same for all of them. They have issues with their habitat being destroyed, basically. They lose their homes in North Africa, Central Asia, Arabia, Iran, and India. However, in Southern Africa, where they are quite common still, they are heavily hunted, both as a pest control, because they prey on the livestock. They eat a lot of things that people in the area also want to eat, but they are also hunted for their fur and their meat. Again, not in the areas where they already have low numbers, but since they are so common, there are so many of them, and it is really an issue, they are hunted in Southern Africa. So how do you list an animal like this? Well, at this point, it is listed as a least concerned animal according to the IUCN Red List. However, we need to know that even though we have plenty of them overall, we may not have a lot of them in an area, so therefore they can be more endangered and even extinct in some areas and thriving in others. So again, it's hard to give them one spot for all of it. Keep in mind here, they may have some local issues. Again, but we aren't afraid to lose them in the entire world anytime soon. Anyway, guys, it seems like it's time for the cinematics, and for once I had time to say it all at the same time. So I'm happy about that. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will enjoy the cinematics. Okay, guys, I know it's a little different in here, but I did something a little different with the last zoo, and I think it ended up great. So therefore, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you like it. And as always, guys, you know the drill. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification so you know the next time I upload a video. Really hope to see you again. Outline in the comments below or in the next video. Bye, guys.